in this little video I'm going to paint a poppy, but I'm also going to use the cling filmed background for this little painting. So I have just drawn very loosely a poppy shape here on my paper, and I'm wetting the whole area around it carefully, trying not to encroach on the pencil drawing or the line drawing of the poppy. So I'm getting my page nicely wet. I continue to work around until I'm happy that I have covered all of the area. So to be sure that I've got all of the paper wet, if you can hold it at an angle, you'll see that there's a sheen on the area that's wet, and you'll see the matte surface on the poppy where, you know, where the water hasn't been put on that area. Now I'm going to give it a few seconds to soak in, and I'm going to apply my paint. So I'm going for the greens, because looking at the colour wheel you'll see the red and green are opposite one another on the colour wheel, so they will make each other pop because they're contrasting colours. So I'm just going to kind of start with maybe a warm yellow, and I'm using New Gamboge, but you could use whatever whatever yellow you have, but I just like the vibrancy of the New Gamboge. So I'm carefully going around my poppy. This would be called negative painting. So the hair on my brush there. Trying not to go in on my poppy. Now again, this will dry much lighter, so if you want a strong background, you need to add, you know, more pigment. Now into that I'm going to add my Prussian blue. And again, I'm just dropping it in areas. I haven't mixed it into a green. I'm just letting it do that on the page itself. Now I'm going to use my cling film to go over it. And then I'm going to let it dry. So you can move the cling film around a little bit at this point. Now I don't want it to go in on top of my flower, so I'm just being very gentle with it and careful with it. So I'm going to leave it now. This is going to dry lighter, but I'm hoping that my poppy will be a very vibrant red to contrast with that when it's done. Now our background has dried for our poppies, and we're going to lift it off and reveal what we have. So we have a very muted background. For the poppies, I think I will use a number of reds. I'm going to use a scarlet and a cadmium red. Now, looking at the painting, I see that the green or the background has encroached on the poppy somewhat, but I'm going to leave it. I think I'm not going to worry about it. So now I'm just applying some clean water over the areas, and I'm going to try and leave a little bit of a gap there, a tiny little white gap where my leaves are intersecting. So I'll work on this little one first of all. So I'm creating a little stop for the, where the watercolor won't run. So I don't want it to run into the next petal. So I'm just going to work a petal at a time. So into that now I'm going to drop my my scarlet red. I'm going to try and reclaim that little bit from the background. I just think I'll work wet and dry here. So I managed to reclaim that a little bit. Again, I'm just going to put some water on here this time, and I'm leaving that little gap there between the petals. And I'm going to add my red in again. Back in here, add another little bit. Now I'll also try and add just a tiny little bit of pink in places. So let me see, maybe a bit in here. So I have permanent rose. Again, it's only just to vary that colour just a tiny little bit. And again in here, I'm applying my water first. And I'll drop in my colour. Now there's my barrier is after reaching there and my colour is after running into it, but you know what, it doesn't matter that much in this case, but we can work with it. So I'm going to add another little bit of pink in here, That's where my centre will be, and I can, because it will be dark, I can work the pink right down there if I want to. So now another little bit of red in there, especially up here. Now I'm going to let that dry and come back to it again. Now that first wash is nearly dry, so I'm going to go back in with some more colour. I want to spread the colour, so I'm going to wet this first here, where I want the colour to go. So I'm going to add some more colour here. Again, I think I'll wet it because I like the soft edges. I'm going to put a little bit of pink in here now. And while it's wet, I'm just going to add a little bit of that dark colour, the centre colour. So that centre colour is nearly black, but I think I'm going to mix it with the ultramarine blue and the burnt sienna, because it won't be as flat as the black, but I can always add a touch of black if I feel it's not doing the trick. Let's see how it works. The other place I'm going to put a little bit of that black is just in here at the bottom of the petals, just here, and let that bleed up. I'm also going to just put in a little bud, so possibly just about here. I've decided that my background is maybe too insipid, so what I'm doing now is I'm just going back in and adding maybe a second lot of colour in places. Now I'm going to try the cling film. So I let that dry. Now it has dried again, and you can see that my background is deeper in places where I have added a little more of the wash and put the cling film over it again. I think I prefer it, but a couple of things have happened as well. The red has bled out into the yellow. I don't mind it so much, it's fine. It's an experiment, so I think I like the addition of the red, so what I might do is I might even add more red, and with the addition of a couple of little splatters. I've also lost my stem here, so I'm going to put that back in now. So that comes about there, like that. And this one, I have lost this one. I'm not too worried about that. But I think that's more or less it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to protect my poppy, and I'm going to add a couple of little splashes. So I'm just going to mask off that area with some tissue, and I'm going to just put in a couple of little splatters. Now you don't have to do this if you don't want to. This could ruin it, but it's a bit of fun, and I have to say I can't resist the old splatter. Now maybe just a couple of light little. Maybe a bit of the yellow. That's not wanting to come off the brush. Oh, yeah. That's done. I seem to have lost my red there with that addition, but we'll just go for a little bit of the green. Now again, I think I'll leave it at that. Let's see. Yeah. I think I'm happy at that, so I'm going to leave it alone now and take off the tape and see what it looks like. Again, I will always pull my tape against itself so it comes off kind of clean without tearing the paper. That doesn't look so bad. Yeah, that doesn't look bad at all. So there's our poppy with our cling film background. This is a lovely little project to experiment with texture using cling film. So I hope you give it a go, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you very much.